everyone, I'm Natalia Bilbao, and here's what's happening in LA this week. The internet and social media help us stay informed and connected, but can also become dangerous tools in the wrong hands. Operation Online Guardian is the effort from the Los Angeles Police Department to protect children by identifying and arresting abusers and sexual predators.
During the weeks of July 10th through July 21st of this year, the ICAC Task Force orchestrated a multi-agency effort called the Operation Online Guardian. The Online Guardian effort was to identify and arrest predators who are using the internet to facilitate sexual abuse of children, and also to rescue children from those said predators. Operation Guardian was executed in 2 phases. The first phase included the proactive undercover investigation of a variety of social media platforms. The second phase included the service of multiple warrants, both of residences throughout the 5 counties. In addition to the arrest warrants, these warrants were focused on efforts that occurred online as well as known child predators.
So what we do is we identify through various means, either through active investigations, through tips that we receive, or information that people come forward and tell us that there may be either child sexual abuse material, which is referred to as CSAM, or child pornography, is either in existence, or that there may be an active production of such, or there may be some abuse that is occurring, or exploitation of children that is occurring. Once we receive that tip, then we conduct our investigation, which will either end up with a closure of that investigation, or we'll end up in a custodial arrest. Be informed. Be informed of how the internet works. Be informed of how your child is using the internet, and also take an interest in what they're doing. They themselves are just children, and they're just on regular websites and such, but there are predators out there that know how to manipulate chat rooms. There are predators out there that know how to manipulate contact and make contact with children, and they come with evil purposes in that sense. One recommended website for understanding and educating yourself for the internet, and also for your children to educate themselves, is www.missingkids.org NetSmarts, and that's NETSMARTZ.
To stay informed and learn about recommendations from the Los Angeles Police Department, visit lapdonline.org. With the recent improvements in the LA Metro system, city officials hope that more people will choose public transportation to get around. Mayor Karen Bass, who is the new chair of Metro, discussed some of the targeted efforts being carried out. Take a look.
It's the annual State of the Agency where Metro reports on the last year's progress in improving transportation, and also a look forward to the next year with our new board chair.
As the new chair of Metro, it is my responsibility to lay out the state of the agency. In the future, Metro cannot be mostly a system of last resort. It must be a system of first choice. We need more Southern Californians to view and use Metro as their first choice for transportation.
We are doing all we can to earn back the trust and the ridership that we've lost through the pandemic and through issues with security and safety.
In response to feedback, we are deploying more officers across the B and D subway lines and the bus routes with the most assaults to prevent crime and improve response times.
We have homeless outreach teams because so much of our problems are with homeless. We have mental health outreach teams because many problems are a result of mental health as well, and drug resistance programs. So all that together, we think is going to make the system so much safer than it's been before.
The number of people who choose to go to Metro will help determine the health of the air we breathe. It will determine the level of gridlock we experience in our daily commutes. We are building up one of the world's great metros. And if we do it right, if we run it right, the people will come, and they will enjoy world-class service befitting of our world-class region. Thank you.
With new funds from the Environmental Protection Agency and citywide support, the Taylor Yard revitalization and cleanup will continue moving forward. Converting previously polluted areas into green spaces are a top priority for many of our city leaders.
The City of LA is receiving $2 million from the EPA to remediate Taylor Yards, to begin that remediation process so that we can create more green space. $2 million is just a fraction of what is needed to get this project across the finish line, but we are years deep into this project. Community has been involved, and now we have every single level of government paying attention to this parcel of land. This is just the beginning with the money piece from the EPA, which is exciting. We still got a long way to go, but we have the most important people at the table to make it happen.
What we're dealing with are those areas in our country that have been contaminated, dumped on, usually low-income communities of color. And it takes a lot of little steps. It's the hardest to go into a place that's contaminated and rebuild, but it just reflects the commitment under the vast leadership to revitalize the lowest and most polluted communities, and it reflects the prioritization of this administration to make sure we're investing across the nation in communities just like this.
Within the first few days of the administration, a pledge was made toward equity. I can't think of a better expression for it than the environment and the disproportionate impact that environmental damage has taken on especially communities of color. This grant is the first step for Los Angeles to begin that process.
Our community needs beautification, it needs greenery, it needs open space. I have a little girl, and it would be nice for her to enjoy some of these projects for so many years.
This project is going to benefit the community because it's going to create more of these green spaces. In CD1, we represent over 250,000 people. 60% of those people are tenants, meaning they don't have front yards and backyards that they can play in like a lot of people do. So this project is life-changing for folks that don't have access to those green spaces. This is very exciting. It's going to be super beneficial, and we need more of this.
LA Metro continues increasing its ridership. The controller releases an interactive map of LA's arrests, and tenant protection resources are announced. These stories up next on CityBeat.
LA Metro released ridership totals for June 2023, highlighting a 7th consecutive month of growth and a 13.3% year-over-year increase. Monthly bus and train ridership is now at 81% of 2019 pre-pandemic numbers, with average weekend ridership at 91%. Weekend ridership saw higher numbers because of special events, including Pride Parade, Ciclavia South LA, and Pride Night at Dodger Stadium. Mayor Karen Bass, who serves as Metro Board Chair, also noted the opening of the regional connector in downtown LA, adding more access and affordability. Metro continues to provide fairless and reduced fare programs such as GoPass for K-12 and community college students, and LIFE, which stands for Low Income Fare is Easy. For more info, visit metro.net. A map and analysis of almost 300,000 arrests made by the LAPD between 2019 and 2022 has been released by City Controller Kenneth Mejia. The maps can be filtered by race, LAPD division, council district, and the type of arrest, as well as locations and arrest details. Arrest types are put into 5 categories by the LAPD, including misdemeanor, felony, dependent, infractions, and other. According to the controller's analysis, misdemeanor and infractions have shown to have more arrests by LAPD than felonies. For more info on the maps, visit controller.lacity.gov. Mayor Karen Bass and Councilmember Nithya Raman jointly announced a series of tenant rights resources ahead of the COVID rent repayment deadline. City of Los Angeles tenants have until August 1, 2023 to pay any rent that was due between March 1, 2020 and September 30, 2021 under COVID protections. In 2023, Council approved a minimum threshold for eviction debt, meaning tenants who owe less than 1 month of fair market rent cannot be evicted. Just cause protections are now official for all residential rental units in LA, making landlords unable to evict tenants without declaring a cause. Tenants who see a rent increase of over 10% within 12 months have the option to receive relocation assistance to move out of the rental unit. To get help or find more info, check out housing.lacity.org or call 866-557-7368.
Knitting in Solidarity is an initiative that seeks to bring hope and connect individuals and communities affected by gun violence. An exhibition of knitted shawls in the memory of victims was held at El Pueblo, uniting art, healing, and prayer in the same place.
This is Knitting in Solidarity. It is bringing hope through art to communities affected by gun violence.
I am from El Pueblo Park Association, and we are here to support the event here at the United Methodist Church with Pastor Frank.
Knitting in Solidarity is a collective of artists and people who work with weaving, knitting, and they're knitting shawls to memorialize the people who have died in mass shootings around our country. It's something that's a real everyday part of their lives. Their loved ones aren't coming home. And so these shawls represent the people who are not coming home.
With this feeling of grief and this lament, it's a chance for us to choose to respond, to bring healing through knit, with every stitch being a prayer, and that way we can stitch these into prayer shawls that are then sent out to send love and healing to these communities.
We need to begin to break out of this sort of self-centeredness that has captured our society for so long, and to begin to see ourselves as one large family, where we support one another, we care for one another, where we work together to create a better society, a more hopeful society. That's what we're really all about. And Knitting in Solidarity calls us really to see one another as human beings, as brothers and sisters and siblings, all of us together, working together to make a better world.
I hope that everyone understands that El Pueblo Park Association is here to help with education, programming, and helping come together as a community.
Can you imagine being able to decide how your tax money is spent in your community? The LA Civil Rights Department is urging people to get involved in the LA Repair Participatory Budget so that their ideas and opinions can have a real impact in local reforms.
Participatory budgeting is a democratic-led process that allows residents to determine how their tax dollars are spent in their particular community. Participatory budgeting started in 1989 in Allegro, Brazil. It has been implemented in over 7,000 cities across the world. And so LA is participating in its first iteration of participatory budgeting, and we call it LA Repair.
We're asking for people to help us with participatory budgeting by actually participating on how things should be designed, where the money should be spent, and how their communities can be served.
And so we're really excited because we have 9 communities that are currently leading this pilot program, and we call them our repair zones. Repair stands for Reforms for Equity and Public Acknowledgement of Institutional Racism. And we're excited to be in these communities because they are at the intersection of race and poverty. Our communities are highly represented by people of color. More than 87% of the folks living in these zones are people of color, and more than 16% of these folks are living below the poverty line. LA Civil Rights is the facilitator and implementer of participatory budgeting, which basically means that we call on the community to come and share their ideas, to participate in the vote, and help them create that structure. The unique thing about LA Repair is that it is completely community driven. We get to bring community voices in, we get to empower them, and really put the power back with the people. Participatory budgeting gives real people real power over real money. To stay engaged with LA Repair Participatory Budgeting, you can follow us on all of our social media platforms at LA Civil Rights. You can go to our website, repair.lacity.gov, to let your voice be heard, to share an idea, to vote on proposals within your community. We want to hear from Angelenos.
The dogs of Northeast San Fernando Valley will soon be able to enjoy a playground right where they live. Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez was at the groundbreaking of the Lopez Canyon Dog Park, accompanied by some future furry park goers and their families. Check it out.
So today I'm very excited that we're at the groundbreaking here adjacent to Lopez Canyon Landfill, where we're creating the Northeast San Fernando Valley's first dog park. Are you guys excited? Yeah? Okay. This is a welcomed amenity for an area and a community that has historically had to bear the burden of a lot of industry. We wanted to try and begin the efforts of reinvesting wonderful amenities for the community.
Not only are we remodeling, but we're also adding some additional features to this existing facility. We are still operating our facility, but we get to utilize this space and open it up to the community. They've asked for remodeling the playground, and we're also adding a couple of water features to capture our water and then creating a trail to walk around this beautiful background.
We take Douglas here all the way to La Crescenta Dog Park pretty much every weekend. It's just gonna be really refreshing to be able to just walk across the street and bring the dog. It's gonna be really nice because the park right now doesn't get a lot of usage. It's a lot of dirt and grass. So now I'm sharing with everybody how good it's gonna be just to walk across the street and have somewhere to take our dogs.
There are very few amenities for our beloved household pets. And so creating that space for them to run around, have a good time, have a little drink of water, where families can picnic and kids can play on brand new playground equipment. We've got a 7-month timeline. We're going to make sure that we deliver it even faster because our community has been waiting too long for these types of amenities and our dogs need it. So I'm just excited that we're going to be making this happen.
From dog lovers to reptile enthusiasts, stick around to discover a fun world safari activity in this week's Things to Do. In this week's feature story, our own Maria Hall-Brown sits down with LA City Controller Kenneth Mejia. He discusses what drew him to this position and some of the measures his department is implementing to improve transparency. Let's hear the story.
What was it about the controller's office that really intrigued you and you wanted to run and be in this position?
So the city controller is the accountant, the auditor, the paymaster. So my background is in accounting and auditing. I'm a certified public accountant, our city's first. And I was looking at the history and saw that we never had a CPA before or an accountant or auditor. So I said, this is a perfect position for me. And with this position, you could really bring about transparency on finances, on city operations, on policies, because people want to know.
So part of all of this, is transparency. And one of the things that you've talked about are maps. So what are some of the things that you have focused on? What are you hoping those maps will achieve?
So maps do provide a better visualization of data, especially from a geographic perspective. So some of the maps we've created are around homelessness, around public safety. Another map we made is our affordable housing map that shows where affordable housing covenants are. That has helped people find housing. And with these maps and these analysis, it also helps these districts understand how policies are affecting the population at hand. And so these maps are there to tell a story better than words can or a table can.
What have you learned since you've been in office?
Well, number one, I really love this job. People think government jobs might be boring, but I love it. I think this is the best job I've ever had. I get to do something that I love to do, and I get to help people. Number two, I think people who work in government have their heart in the right place. They want to do good. What I think and what I've learned on why that's not enough is there are times where bureaucracy or red tape or, oh, actually, you can't do that. We haven't done that before. It slows things down. And I think what we're trying to do is say, no, we have to be innovative. We are in an emergency right now. we have to figure out ways to tackle these issues, these problems. Because if every year we're gonna say the same thing, this is just the way it is, this is how it is. And it's like, okay, well, if this is the way it is, then we're just gonna have people continue to be dying on our streets. We're gonna continue to have people being evicted, people being harassed, animals being stuffed in kennels with 4 other dogs. And that's the sad reality of it. And what I try to do is say, look, y'all, like, this is not working. Or it's working, but if this is the way you intended the system to work, then this is not good enough. And I think that's what I'm trying, and our office is trying to work with in order to change that, right? What I hope and what we hope in our office is to inspire others to take up this, grab the mantle and continue this pathway of education, of transparency, of identifying what's wrong with the system and fixing the system that we live in. So that's our goal.
Attend the Nisei Week Grand Parade, enjoy free Shakespeare at Griffith Park, or have a fun educational experience with Thor's reptiles. All this up next on Things to Do.
The Los Angeles Department of Cultural Affairs and Council District 14 invite you to Little Tokyo for the Nisei Week Grand Parade. The Nisei Week Grand Parade features traditional Japanese taiko drum performers, haneto dancers, local community groups, and the newly crowned 2023 Nisei Week Queen and Court. This is the Nisei Week Foundation's 81st summer celebration with free cultural activities for all ages, taking place in downtown's Little Tokyo neighborhood. Don't miss out on one of the largest and most exciting parades in Los Angeles, Sunday, August 13th, beginning at 4 p.m. Log on to niseiweek.org for more information about the parade and other festival events. Summer is here, so why not catch some free Shakespeare outdoors in LA's beloved Griffith Park? Shakespeare's intoxicating comedy, A Midsummer Night's Dream, will be an unforgettable night of theater under the stars. Get caught up in the line between mortal and magical with a fairy king and queen, young lovers, and more than a few battles. Bring your friends, shake out a blanket, plan your picnic, and prepare to be dazzled by this production from Independent Shakespeare Company. Griffith Park Free Shakespeare Festival's A Midsummer Night's Dream performs Wednesday through Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. through September 3rd. Log on to iscla.org for more information. The Los Angeles Public Library wants you to experience the excitement of exotic reptiles. Don't miss Thor's Reptiles as he mixes education and fun into one amazing reptile show. Experience this unique form of education that captures the attention, imagination, and interest of all ages. Join in the library safari and get your hands on arthropods, amphibians, and reptiles of all sizes. The safari will take you around the world to learn about the various personalities of the animals and their feeding habits. Herbivores, carnivores, insectivores, and omnivores will all be in attendance. See Thor's Reptiles at the Venice Abbott Kinney Library Saturday, August 12th, starting at 11 a.m. Log on to lapl.org/events for more information. And that's a look at some things to do.
And that's it for this edition. I am Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacitybview.org, and we're also on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.